Why did Trump really strike Venezuela? And why are China and Russia the real targets of this war? Spoiler alert, it's about the oil. How could controlling oil prices stop the Ukraine war overnight? Forget the headlines. Let's talk about the end game. This is America's new energy dominance plan. Welcome to Punchline Presents. I'm your friend who turns boring facts into punchlines. On January 3rd, the U.S. military launched Operation Absolute Resolve and kicked down the door to Venezuela. The mainstream media will tell you it was about restoring democracy or fighting terror. Yeah, right. But let's look at this like a ruthless strategist. Imagine Venezuela as a gas station. It's sitting right in America's backyard, and it has the largest underground fuel tanks in the world. But for the last 20 years, the manager, Maduro, has been running this station into the ground. The pumps are broken, the service is awful. Here's the weird part. For years, Uncle Sam turned a blind eye to this mess. So why kick down the door now? Because the manager started cheating. He's been sneaking out the back door to sell gas to China. Oh, and he's been letting Russia and Iran store their fireworks in the break room. So Uncle Sam looked across the street and realized,
I can't have a ticking time bomb next to my driveway, and I definitely can't keep driving halfway across the world to the Middle East just to fill up my tank.
But why did Uncle Sam decide to kick down the gas station door on January 3rd? Because the White House is facing a survival crisis at home. You know the vibe. You walk into a grocery store, look at the price of eggs, and suddenly consider robbing the place? Inflation is the silent thief picking the pocket of every American family, and what is the mother of all prices? Oil. When gas goes up, shipping goes up, food goes up, and voters get angry. Let's be real. For Trump, high gas prices are a one-way ticket to political suicide. The logic is simple. If Trump doesn't kill inflation, the voters will eat the GOP alive in the 2026 midterms. So Trump is cornered. He knows that if he doesn't fix this, he's toast. He doesn't just need a solution, he needs to rig the game. He needs cheap oil, lots of it, right now. But wait, isn't America the world's biggest oil producer? Why can't we just lower the prices ourselves? Well, because our old friends, OPEC, they aren't playing with us anymore. Well, that used to be true. The US and Saudi Arabia used to be best buddies.
You give me military protection, I give you cheap oil. Habibi!
Yeah! Best friends forever!
But things got awkward. One day, America cracked the code on shale. Suddenly, the US wasn't just a customer. The US became a competitor.
Look at all this shale oil. I'm energy independent now, baby. It's not me, it's you.
Excuse me? You can't just break up with me via text.
But Saudi didn't stay single for long.
Hey, Saudi! I'm upgrading to premium subscriber status, and I'm paying in yuan. Plus, I can build that giant sci-fi mirror city in the desert for you.
Wow, sounds like a deal. Hey Sam, good luck with that inflation thing. Don't call us, we'll call you.
Oh no, Saudi! Don't leave me!
OPEC started flirting with China, trading in yuan, and cutting production just to keep prices high. The old alliance is shaking. To control inflation and save his approval ratings, the US government needs a new gas station. And it's not just about gas prices. Oil is far more critical in the global game than we imagine. Oil isn't just go juice for your soccer mom minivan. It's the lifeblood of victory. Look at World War II. Why did the German war machine stall out? Because their tanks ran dry. Why did the Japanese empire collapse? Because the US cut off their oil supply. Fast forward to the 1990s. The mighty Soviet Union didn't fall because of a battlefield defeat. They fell apart because the US and Saudi Arabia worked together to flood the market with oil, crashing the price and bankrupting the Kremlin. Oil isn't just fuel, it's the ultimate geopolitical weapon. The rule is simple: he who controls the pump controls the world. That is exactly why Trump is desperately dusting off that old oil weapon card again. Now that Trump controls the Venezuelan tap, Americans can turn it on full blast. Combined with American shale oil, the goal is to flood the market and drive the price of oil down to $40 a barrel to crush Russia and Iran. Why $40? $40 is great for the average shopper. It means low inflation and cheap road trips. $40 is painful for US shale companies. It's the ramen noodles for dinner level of survival. But they can still stay alive. But for America's geopolitical rivals, $40 isn't just cheap, it's a death sentence for Russia and Iran. Let's talk about Russia. Putin's war machine in Ukraine runs on oil money. To break even, to pay his soldiers and build his missiles, Russia needs oil to be at $70 or $80 a barrel. Now, imagine the price drops to $40.
You can't just lower the oil price to $40. My economy relies on $70 oil.
Sorry, Vlad. I like you, but I like winning elections more.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
By controlling Venezuela's massive reserves and flooding the market, the US can crash the price. And suddenly, Putin's war machine simply runs out of cash. It's checkmate by economics. It's the same playbook that took down the Soviet Union remastered for 2026. It's a brutal win-win, cheap gas for the voters and bankruptcy for the Kremlin. But it's not just Russia. The US is also coming for China. For years, China has been sipping cheap oil from Venezuela using something called the shadow fleet. Think of the shadow fleet like ghost trucks. Imagine hundreds of trucks on the highway with fake license plates, their GPS turned off, logos painted over, driving in the middle of the night to smuggle gas. That's how China has been keeping its energy costs low. Now, swap the trucks for rusty oil tankers. That's the shadow fleet. But the US Navy didn't just ask nicely, they started seizing these ghost ships. Welcome to the Great Caribbean Repo.
No flag, no registration. Yoink! Mine now. Hoo ha 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 ha!
By physically blocking the sea lanes, the US severed the lifeline that was feeding cheap oil to the Chinese economy. But the physical blockade is nothing compared to the financial heist that just went down. This is where it gets absolutely ruthless. The administration calls it the Reimbursement Doctrine. I call it the ultimate Q jump. China has lent Venezuela about $20 billion over the years. They are the biggest creditor. They have the receipts. They expect to be paid back in oil.
Haha! Venezuela is in my debt trap. I own the mortgage on this entire country.
But the US just walked in and changed the locks.
Wrong. Look, we provided security. Beautiful security for the region. You think freedom is free? No. Consider the oil a big, beautiful service fee. And now we are taking the oil. It's called a reimbursement. Very legal, very cool.
But my money?
Yeah, you can stand in line. You're now creditor number last. Have a nice day.
No, wait! My money!
Just like that, $20 billion of bad debt vanishes into thin air. The US takes the oil and China is left holding an empty bag. And it's not just about the money, it's about the map. China invested billions in South America for one specific reason: to bypass the Malacca Strait. China knows that in a war, the US Navy could block the shipping lanes in Asia. So, they built a backup plan, an energy lifeline far away from the US Navy's usual choke points. Or so they thought. By taking Venezuela, the US didn't just commandeer a gas station, they burned down China's emergency exit. Now China has no backup. They are forced back to the old routes, right where the US Navy is waiting. It's a total strategic knockout. So, let's recap. The Trump administration seized the gas station, plans to crash the price to $40, bankrupt the Russian war machine, and rip up China's credit card. With the backyard of South America now secured, Uncle Sam is dusting off his hands and looking east again. Rumor has it, US carrier strike groups are already steaming toward the Middle East. The message to the world is clear. Venezuela was just the appetizer. The main course is Iran, but in doing so, we just ripped open Pandora's box. If Trump can seize a country to settle a debt, why can't others? Once that box is open, anyone can look inside. Maybe Trump wins this round, but looking at this new world order,
Interesting strategy. Very efficient.
maybe next Tuesday, Taiwan wakes up to a surprise special reunification operation? Or maybe, taking a page out of Trump's playbook, Putin simply goes for the throat and Zelensky wakes up inside a Russian cell? Who knows? We finally got the price of gas down, but the cost of this chaos, that is just getting started. Thanks for watching Punchline Presents. See you in the next crisis.